Hello and welcome to Time Manufacturing. The safe operation of any aerial device is subject to certain hazards that can be protected against only by the exercise of intelligence, care, and common sense. It is essential to have personnel trained in the intended use, safe operation, maintenance, and service of aerial equipment. This video provides practical and essential information for the efficient operation of the Versalift VST 7500 aerial and is to be used in conjunction with the appropriate operator and service manuals. This video is not intended to replace your company rules and regulations or those of the federal government, but should be used in conjunction with them. All Versalift models are designed and built to conform to all applicable OSHA and ANSI rules and regulations. The instructions contained within this video may not cover all details or variations in equipment, nor do they provide for every possible contingency to be met in connection with the proper operation and maintenance of the unit. Should further information be desired to address specific problems, please refer to the operator and service manuals or contact Time Manufacturing for assistance. Getting started. The Versalift VST 7500 is a completely self-contained, elevating and rotating aerial device mounted on a truck chassis. The VST 7500 has been designed and engineered from the ground up to provide a truly flexible and functional workstation. But if misused or not operated safely, it is a tool that can cause injury or even death. In addition to the information in this video, good judgment, safe control, and caution in each situation should be used. Since the operator is in direct control of the aerial platform, it is essential that the unit be properly maintained and operated so as to perform its many functions safely and efficiently. The operator needs to make decisions on the use and operation of the aerial platform while remembering that his or her own safety, as well as the safety of others, is dependent on those decisions. Only qualified operators who are trained and experienced should operate the Versalift VST 7500 aerial device. Operator training should include instruction on the employer's safety rules, all related governmental regulations, and a thorough understanding of the operator's manual. The operator's manual is an integral part of the aerial device and must be properly stored on the vehicle when not in use. Preparation and familiarization. Familiarization with the VST 7500 is of critical importance when preparing to operate the unit. Prior to operating the equipment, study the function of all operation controls and indicators. Always operate the equipment in accordance with the instructions provided in the operator's manual, as well as those on the unit. In accordance with OSHA and ANSI requirements, the operator must perform a thorough unit inspection each day to detect any problems before they become serious. During this inspection, the operator should look for anything out of the ordinary that might indicate a problem. Equipment failures may be prevented by following the inspection and maintenance schedules which are covered in this video and listed in detail in the manuals provided. Two of the main risks associated with operating an aerial lift unit include electrocution caused by operating too close to power lines and injuries caused by falling as a result of equipment failure or the operator performing an unsafe or unstable maneuver. While it is impossible to address every conceivable operating hazard, the prevention of accidents is greatly dependent upon good judgment and common sense of the operator. It is the responsibility of the operator to use the Versalift VST 7500 only when it has been installed and maintained in accordance with the manufacturer's requirements. The preventative maintenance program outlined in the operator and service manuals must be followed. Safety decals. Safety decals are installed at numerous locations on the aerial lift to warn personnel of the potential hazards during the use and operation of the aerial lift. It is important that the operator and ground personnel read and understand the information on the decals. If any decals are defaced, illegible, or lost, they must be replaced immediately. Please refer to the decal replacement illustration located in the operator's manual for a complete listing and location of the decals. A safe attitude is very important to you, the operator. Practice anticipating accidents and operating hazards. Then determine a corrective course of action to respond to the situation. This habit will sharpen your safety awareness, quicken your reaction time and prevent many accidents. The following reminders identify some of the unsafe situations that might occur during the use or operation of the VST 7500 aerial device. Some of these safety problems are very basic and, as a result, are often taken for granted. Always engage outriggers and maintain the correct tire pressure to increase vehicle stability. Don't park on a hill unless absolutely necessary. When the truck is parked on a slope, take the special precautions as outlined in the Operations section of the Operator's Manual. Remember to set the parking brake and chock the truck's wheels. Always wear a personnel restraint system attached to the lanyard anchor. Watch the booms to make sure they clear the truck and other obstructions. Maintain safe clearances from electrical power lines and apparatus, as the aerial lift does not provide protection from contact or proximity to two or more electrically charged conductors. Whenever tools or equipment are included with the operator in the platform, the combined weight must not exceed the rated load capacity. Never allow anyone on the ground to touch the unit when the lift is being used to work on or near electrical lines. Avoid dropping tools and use a hand line to raise or lower tools to or from the platform. Stow the booms securely before moving the truck. Stand only on the platform floor. Don't climb out of a raised platform onto poles or limbs. Keep the fiberglass booms clean and dry, as foreign substance on the booms may conduct electricity. For additional safety considerations, please refer to Section 2 of the Operator's Manual. Daily Pre-Start Inspection. A daily pre-start inspection must be performed each day prior to leaving for the job site. The following items are covered in detail in the Preventative Maintenance section of your Operator's Manual. Make sure all audible safety devices, strobe lights, beacons, or other warning lights are working properly. Make sure both front and rear emergency flashers are also working. Always check the tires for general condition as well as proper air pressure. Improper or low tire pressure can greatly affect unit stability. You should also be sure to check the inside tires at the rear. Now start the engine and engage the PTO. You should check the operation of the PTO and pump, as well as the lift and under your truck for signs of leaks. Should your truck be equipped with a torsion bar, inspect it for any signs of damage, loose or missing hardware. Check all critical fasteners. A drawing provided in the Preventative Maintenance section of the manual will help you identify the critical fasteners. It is also important to note that all critical fasteners are torque seal marked to provide a quick means of detecting any loosening. Pay particular attention to the bolts holding the pin retainer tabs, pin retainer washers, pedestal mounting bolts, and the upper and lower turret rotation bearing bolts. The lift should not be used if any torque seal mark is broken. The bolt must be replaced with a new bolt of equal grade and torqued to proper specifications by qualified personnel. You should also refer to the service manual for recommended torque procedures and a copy of the torque chart. Check the electrical system as it relates to the Versalift aerial for malfunction, signs of excessive deterioration, dirt, and moisture. Check all critical welds for any signs of cracks, pinholes, or other signs of fatigue. A critical weld drawing is provided in the Preventative Maintenance section of the Operator's Manual for reference. Examine the hydraulic lines for leaks or loose connections and frayed jackets. If any nylon jacket is damaged, you should inspect the hose inside for damage. Carefully examine the hoses, especially any portion of hose that is subject to flexing, in particular the hoses at the platform. Look for any loose objects that may have been left on the boom that could fall during operation. Check the hydraulic fluid level at the sight gauges located on the side of the pedestal. This should be checked while the unit is completely stowed such as for road travel. Add the appropriate fluid if necessary. You should again refer to the service manual for hydraulic fluid specifications and recommendations. It is very important to maintain the proper hydraulic fluid level. A full reservoir minimizes the operating temperature of the system, and in the event of a hydraulic leak, a full reservoir will give the operator more time to lower the platform. Check the controls to make sure they function properly. All the control handles, except the selector, should return to neutral when released. It's required that you operate the unit from the ground station through its full range of motion before allowing anyone to operate from the platform. Check for proper and smooth operation of the leveling system. Verify that all decals are legible and in good condition. Any warning, danger, caution, operational or instructional decals must be maintained in accordance with applicable OSHA standards. A decal replacement chart that includes part numbers is located in the Preventative Maintenance section of the Operator's Manual. Inspect the fiberglass platform for cracks in the mounting ribs, floor, and the flange around the top. If these conditions exist, the platform must be repaired or replaced before operation. Any suspect items found in the course of the inspection should be carefully examined or tested, and a determination made by a qualified person as to whether they constitute a safety hazard. Positioning the Versalift for operation. The following information will help the operator and ground crews set up the VST in a safe, stable, and efficient manner. This includes orientation of the truck at the worksite, responsibilities before leaving the truck cab, and requirements after leaving the truck cab. Orienting the truck at the worksite. Before the Versalift is used, the worksite should be surveyed for hazards such as untamped earth fills, ditches, drop-offs, manholes or storm drains. Other obstructions such as debris, overhead obstructions, electrical conductors, and the presence of unauthorized persons should also be considered. Make sure to park the truck on firm, level ground whenever possible. Do not operate the Versalift on a slope greater than 5 degrees. Slope reduces the vehicle's stability and places additional stress on the lift's rotation system. If it is necessary to work on a slope, extra precautions are required. For better stability, position the truck near the worksite with the truck facing up or down the slope, and always work up the slope. Before leaving the truck cab. The following steps should be taken in preparing to operate the aerial lift. It is assumed that the truck engine is still running. Firmly set the parking brake and the brake lock, if equipped. Shift the truck transmission to neutral. Turn on the warning lights to alert pedestrians and motorists. Engage the PTO. We recommend that you refer to the PTO manufacturer's manuals for proper operation of the PTO. Activate the master control with the toggle switch located on the dashboard of the truck. A light next to the toggle switch indicates when the Versalift power system is energized. The truck ignition must be in the run position. After leaving the truck cab. Always set up adequate cones or barricades to mark the boundaries of the worksite and alert pedestrians and motorists. Never work outside the boundaries, and always engage the outriggers. Ground control operations. The Versalift ground controls may include one or more of the following controls: outrigger and tool power. Ground controls are usually mounted on a panel in the rear bumper of the truck or below the deck. Outriggers must always be extended to provide stability for the aerial lift. The stability of the truck depends on the unit's gross weight, firmness and slope of the ground, weight in the platform, tire pressure, and full outrigger spread. These factors are widely variable, and caution must be used when determining the stability of the unit. If, under any condition, there is doubt about the vehicle's stability, do not operate the lift. To lower the outriggers, select Ground Controls with the Control Selector toggle switch. The selector knob must be pulled out for the outriggers to operate. Then, a control valve lever is used to raise or lower each outrigger. To retract the outriggers, the booms must be stowed. Optional hydraulic tool power consists of quick disconnect outlets located at the platform. To operate, connect the hydraulic tool hoses to the tool power outlet quick disconnect couplings. Activate the tool power valve by pushing the tool power valve knob up. The aerial controls will not respond while the hydraulic tools are being operated. To disconnect the hydraulic tools, the tool power valve must be turned off by pushing the tool power valve knob down completely so that the pressure in the system is relieved. The hoses can now be safely removed from the tool power couplings. Failure to relieve pressure to the tool ports before connecting or disconnecting the tool hoses may result in a high-pressure hydraulic fluid spray. This spray or mist can puncture or become embedded beneath the skin or contaminate the eyes. These conditions require immediate specialized medical attention. Aerial lift operations. Now we will cover the operating procedures and concerns for aerial lift operation. This information will be covered in order of probable use while operating from the ground, then at the platform and near energized conductors. Startup procedures. Once the unit is in the proper position, you should disengage the upper boom tie-down strap. In extremely cold weather, it is a good idea to allow the engine to idle with the PTO engaged for a few minutes before operating the lift. This will warm the hydraulic fluid and improve performance. Cold fluid will cause the unit to operate slow and sluggish. The lower controls for a standard VST 7500 machine are located on the side of the turret and consist of a series of spring-loaded control valve handles, a detented control selector, and toggle switches. Let's take a moment to discuss these controls. The selector control lever is a detent valve and is used to operate the aerial lift from either the upper or the lower control station, as indicated by the decal. It is also used to override the upper controls in an emergency, which will be covered later in this video. To operate a function from the lower controls, move the selector valve to the lower position. Then operate the desired function by moving the spring-loaded control valve handle in the desired direction as indicated by the decal. To stop a lift movement, simply return the control valve handle to the center or neutral position. Never reverse any lift motion with a sudden reversal of the control valve handle. Allow the function to stop completely before reversing directions. Engine start-stop control is operated by a two-position momentary toggle switch labeled Engine. To start the engine from the lower controls, simply actuate and hold the toggle in the start-stop position until the engine starts, then release the switch. To stop the engine, again actuate the engine toggle and release. The engine will quit running. Optional throttle control gives the operator the choice of an engine idle speed for the efficient operation of the boom functions or a faster engine speed for faster lift movement. The two-speed throttle control is operated by a three-position toggle switch labeled Throttle Control. To speed up the engine, place the control toggle in the engage position and release. To slow the engine to an idle, place the toggle to the disengage position and release. It is, however, recommended that the engine be left at idle unless a faster engine speed is required. This will provide the most efficient operation, minimize fuel consumption, and the heating of the hydraulic fluid. Optional emergency power is useful if the lift's main power source fails. The emergency power control is a toggle switch labeled Emergency Power and can be used to activate the emergency hydraulic power motor to operate the lift. To activate emergency power, Simply place the toggle in the on position as indicated by the decal, and then operate a control valve in the desired direction. Do not operate this system for longer than 30 seconds, as continuous operation beyond 30 seconds will drain the battery and may damage the emergency power electric motor. To deactivate the emergency power, release the toggle switch. Platform operation. Now let's go over the controls located at the platform. It's important to remember that the control selector valve located at the ground controls must be in the upper position for the platform controls to be operable. The standard upper control station consists of an emergency stop valve, engine start-stop control, locking control levers, and a Unitrol single-stick control lever. Optional controls available may include 2-speed throttle control, jib winch control, and emergency power control. Hydraulic tool power is standard on the VST 7500. The emergency stop valve is labeled push for emergency stop. When pushed in, this stops all lift functions and hydraulic tool power in the event of a lift control malfunction or other emergency. When the emergency stop valve is pulled out, the platform controls and tool power once again become functional. The engine start-stop control is operated by an air cylinder plunger with a black knob labeled engine. To start the engine, push and hold the control knob down until the engine starts. If the engine does not crank, repeat the operation until the engine starts. Again, the Versalift power switch must be activated and the truck ignition be in the run position before the engine can be started from the platform. To stop the engine, simply push the knob down again and release. The locking control levers operate the platform leveling, platform rotation, and lower boom functions. To operate, pull up on the locking collar and move the lever in the desired direction as indicated by the decal. The speed of the function depends on the position of the control lever. To stop the function, simply move the controller back to the neutral position and release the locking collar. The Unitrol single-stick controller is a multi-jointed handle that enables you to operate 3 boom functions that include the outer boom, raise and lower, inner boom extend and retract, and rotation clockwise and counterclockwise. To operate the single-stick controller, squeeze the safety trigger located under the control handle and gradually move the lever in the desired direction as indicated by the decal. The speed of the function depends on the position or amount of handle deflection. To stop the function, simply return the control to the neutral position and release the safety trigger. 2 or more functions can be operated at the same time. However, for new or inexperienced operators, we recommend that they concentrate their initial efforts on learning to operate each lift function separately and refrain from operating the lift movements at full speed. Speed and smoothness of the lift movement are controlled by the operator's ability to feather the control valves with the single stick handle. Regular practice and experience will prove invaluable in developing the operator's proficiency in maneuvering the lift. The tool power control is operated by a selector valve with a black knob and is labeled tool power. It is used to engage and disengage the hydraulic tool power at the platform. Simply push the knob up to engage tool power and push down to disengage. It's also important to remember to always disengage the tool power by pushing the knob down prior to connecting or disconnecting the tool hoses, as a high-pressure hydraulic spray may result. The optional emergency power system is operated by an air cylinder plunger labeled emergency power. To activate, simply push and hold the emergency power control knob down while operating the desired lift function. Simply release the control knob to stop the emergency power motor. Again, it's important to remember that the system must not be operated continuously for longer than 30 seconds. Optional throttle control is operated by an air cylinder plunger knob labeled throttle. To operate the throttle control, simply push the knob down once and release. This will gradually increase the engine speed. Pushing down again returns the engine back to an idle speed. The jib, pole, and winch is used to lift loads from the ground up to the work site at the platform. If your unit is equipped with this feature, the main component includes a jib pole line lifting assembly and a winch with a rope and clevis hook, and is mounted on the line lifting socket near the platform. The hydraulic winch provides the power necessary to lift material, with the maximum capacity being dependent on the material handling capacity option. The jib pole assembly is designed to automatically level with the platform without any manual adjustments. When not in use, the jib pole or the entire jib winch assembly can be easily removed to clear the platform area for other tasks. If your unit is equipped with a manual jib and winch, the jib pole can be adjusted from 0 to 50 degrees at 10-degree increments between 6 pinhole positions. To change the tilt of the jib pole, simply support the initial position with your hands or shoulder and remove the lock pin from the index hole in the turret. Align the desired hole, degree or tilt, and insert the lock pin so that the steel locking ball on the shaft supports the pin. The jib pole must not be supporting a load while performing this operation. The jib pole assembly can also be rotated between several convenient load lifting positions to accommodate the load. To rotate the jib pole assembly, simply remove the lock pin from the index hole on the turret. Rotate the jib pole to the desired position and align the index hole with the lower support weldment. Next, insert the lock pin, verifying that the steel locking ball on the locking pin is secure. Again, the jib pole assembly must not be supporting a load during this operation. There are 2 control valves for operation of the winch. At the turret, the winch control valve is located with the other turret control valves. To operate the winch from the turret controls, the control selector lever must be in the lower position. The control at the platform is separate from the other controls. A decal indicates which direction to move the lever to raise and lower the load. The jib winch lifting capacity is determined by the angle of the outer boom, inner boom extension, and jib pole tilt angle. For example, on the VST 7500, with the outer boom angle in the red zone as identified by the angle indicator and the inner boom extended but only showing the white painted area, the jib capacity would be 300 pounds. This will differ based on your model VST and material handling capacity option you have on your unit. It is important that the operator and ground crew be familiar with capacities and precautions required to operate the winch. Winch operation requires constant attention and inspection. We strongly recommend that you refer to your operator's manual and the decals and indicators on your machine for more detailed operating information and safety-related precautions regarding the operation of the jib pole and winch assembly. Let's talk safety. Contact with or inadequate clearance from power lines and apparatus can cause death or serious injury. The operator must maintain safe clearances from electrical power lines in accordance with applicable government regulations and allow clearance for boom, platform, and electrical line sway and deflection. The VST 7500 aerial has an I designation in the model number to indicate the unit is an insulated machine. The insulation capabilities of these aerial lifts are defined by the rated line voltage as indicated by the ANSI A92.2 data plate located on the pedestal. Although these models provide insulated booms, no aerial lift can provide protection from contact with or proximity to an electrically charged power line when you are in contact with or in proximity to another power line. It is the responsibility of both the operator and ground crew to know and understand the capabilities of the aerial lift and hazards associated with operation near electric lines or components. Due to the nature of the work, Aerial lifts often place the operator and ground crew in the vicinity of electrical lines and equipment where grave danger exists. These dangers can only be avoided by the constant care of the operator and ground crew who are aware of these dangers, know the limitations of the aerial lift and its insulating capabilities, and know how to protect themselves from these dangers. It is also important to remember that the accumulation of dirt and moisture on insulated booms degrades the insulation value. Be sure the booms are clean and dry. Remember that the inside of a boom may be wet even when the outside is dry. Here are some additional safety notes to remember. The operator must wear an OSHA-mandated personnel restraint device when operating from the platform. The lanyard must be attached from the manufacturer's approved anchor point at the boom tip to the personnel restraint device. Never operate an aerial device without wearing an approved personnel restraint system and lanyard attached to the specified anchor. Watch the boom to make sure it clears the truck and all other obstructions. Never allow anyone on the ground to touch the unit when the lift is being used to work on or near electrical lines. The Versalift must never be operated in the proximity of a lightning storm. Use outrigger pads when necessary to provide a firm footing. Never attempt to clean, oil, or adjust the Versalift while in motion. Versalift recommends that a lift not be used in winds exceeding 30 miles per hour. However, it's ultimately at the operator's discretion whether it is safe to operate in winds exceeding 30 miles per hour. Always stow and strap the boom down securely and completely before moving the truck. Never drive the truck with the PTO engaged. Whenever tools or equipment are included with the operator, the combined weight must not exceed the rated platform capacity. You must always refer to the capacity charts and decals located on the lift and in the manuals. When operating the winch, never exceed the maximum lifting capacity as shown by the capacity indicator. If the winch line has abrasive wear, pulled strands, cuts, heat damage, or other defects, it must be replaced before further use. Do not use the winch line to wrap or tie an object for lifting, as this will damage the line. Use appropriate strap or chain. Although the winch line is made of a non-conductive material, dirt, grease, and moisture absorbed during humid or wet weather can make the rope conductive. For this reason, the rope must always be treated as a conductor. Avoid dropping tools from the platform. Use a hand line to raise or lower tools to the platform. Stand only on the platform floor. Never climb out of a raised platform onto a pole or limb. Report any unusual occurrence during the operation of the aerial lift that may require repair or adjustment. Keep the workspace in the truck bed clean and neat. Only qualified mechanics are authorized to service the Versalift. Hydraulic fluid is flammable. Avoid any contact between the hydraulic fluid and any source of high heat or open flame. Contact with hot hydraulic fluid or fluid under pressure can cause burns or severe injury, which require immediate specialized medical attention. Storing the aerial lift. When storing the lift for road travel, retract the inner boom completely. Always watch for personnel and obstructions when storing the aerial lift. A crushing injury to personnel or damage to equipment can occur. Rotate the outer inner boom until it is centered over the boom rest. Rotate the platform so that it is centered over the platform support. You must always stow the lower boom before lowering the outer inner boom assembly into the boom rest. Now, lower the outer inner boom onto the boom rest pad. The boom lower control should be released as soon as there is firm contact with the boom rest pad. The platform will also come in contact with the platform support. To complete the storing procedure, secure the outer-inner boom assembly with the tie-down strap, retract the outriggers, and remove the wheel chocks. Turn off the electrical control system and disengage the PTO. Never drive the truck without the aerial lift properly stowed and tied down. Emergency operation procedures. Emergency operation may be required if an operator is injured or the hydraulic system malfunctions, so operators should become proficient with the controls and features designed for emergency situations. In an emergency, the first priority is the safety of the personnel involved. Before attempts are made to rescue personnel, make sure the unit has not become electrically energized. Identifying the problem and initiating the proper emergency procedures promptly will help minimize or possibly prevent injuries. It is important to follow standard work practices and safety regulations. In case of truck engine, pump, or PTO failure, the emergency power should be used as outlined earlier if so equipped. Overriding platform controls. If a situation requires, the upper controls may be overridden through the use of the selector valve handle located at the ground control station. Move the selector handle in the lower position for operation of the lift. This renders the upper controls inoperable, and the lift can now be lowered by use of the lower controls. Holding valves. If all hydraulic power sources become inoperable, there are ways to manually bleed the platform to the ground. However, these are last resort methods, and extreme care should be taken. If the hydraulic system fails with an operator aloft, bleeder ports on each cylinder can be used to lower the booms and return the operator to the ground. Qualified personnel at the site are responsible for selecting a safe path of descent. Please refer to Section 4 of the Operator's Manual for complete details on how to bleed down the holding valves. Manual adjustment of the holding valves can only be used in retracting or lowering the booms. When this is done, readjustment of the holding valves is required before further use. Manual rotation. If there are any obstructions stopping you from bleeding the booms down, the turret rotation system can be manually actuated. Please refer to Section 4 of the Operator's Manual for complete details on how to manually rotate the aerial device. The engine start-stop control can be used for emergency operation in the event the prime power source stalls or dies. To restore lift operation, use the engine start-stop control to crank the engine while attempting to stow the booms as the engine turns over. Crank the engine intermittently at 30-second intervals to conserve the battery. Use the emergency power motor if installed. The truck transmission must be in neutral or park before using the engine start-stop. Death or serious injury could occur. Responsibilities after emergency operation. After an emergency situation, it is the responsibility of the operator to make sure the aerial lift is repaired and adjusted by a qualified mechanic before it is used again. If an equipment defect is suspected, do not allow anyone to operate the aerial lift or enter the platform until the problem is corrected. The aerial lift must then be operated from the lower controls through its full range of motion several times, the hydraulic fluid level checked and refilled if necessary. Maintenance and inspection schedules. The maintenance and inspection of certain items are the responsibility of a competent operator. Being alert for evidence of a problem is essential in maintaining safe and satisfactory service. Items that warrant attention are identified in the operator and service manuals. Included are visual inspection guidelines, lubrication instructions, hydraulic fluid maintenance, filter maintenance, and adjustments. The operator should become familiar with the maintenance and inspection schedules and requirements and make sure they are followed. Proper maintenance and inspections will help prevent failures and ensure a long, useful life of the equipment. Remember, no video or manual can cover every situation that may occur or prevent every accident. When it comes to safety, there are several factors involved. It's the manufacturer's job to design and build the Versalift aerial work platform to the highest possible safety standards. It's the owner-employer's job to ensure the Versalift is properly serviced and maintained, with operators properly trained. And it's the operator's job to use the Versalift responsibly, as required by the applicable ANSI and OSHA standards. If any one of these three safety components is not properly performed, an accident, injury, or worse can occur. It is therefore essential that all three groups, the manufacturer, the owner-employer, and the operators, all contribute their part to the safety of the Versalift. If you have any questions concerning the Versalift VST 7500, please contact your local distributor or even the manufacturer. And thank you for watching.